Hi all, my name is Omkar and in this video I'm going to give a complete overview of the process of sending applications to universities abroad for master's studies. This video is intended towards those who have completed their undergraduate studies and are planning to apply to their favorite universities abroad. Many times it is thought that how hard can it be to apply? Simply go to a consultant, pay them and to do all the work for you. Sounds pretty simple, but it isn't if you are really planning to get into one of the top universities in the world. In this video, I will be breaking down this process stepwise and express my perspective through all points as we move forward. In the upcoming videos on this channel, I will further break down each point in depth to simplify it further and provide a better insight. So starting with the first point that you should be really considering is researching about the countries which suits you the best. Unless you have some country fixed in your mind to go to, I would highly recommend you to consider this step. A lot of countries happen to provide excellent educational opportunities in different fields. For example, Germany has excellent courses related to automobiles. USA has some very advanced courses related to AI, cybersecurity, data science. But a lot of us miss on this step. So, considering you may be from mechanical, civil, computer, electrical or electronics branch, a thorough research about different countries is always recommended. The second point is shortlisting countries. Based on the study of countries, you can shortlist 2 or 3 countries of your choice. It often happens that students tend to choose the courses that are interdisciplinary in nature, for example, robotics. Then there are different universities across the globe that could offer good options for excellent research opportunities. The third point being shortlisting area of specialization. Often there are various subjects that fascinate the students. Such variety of subjects to specialize into creates a confusion. A generalized master's degree won't be that good a help as compared to one in specific area. It is evident from various surveys that subject matter experts tend to earn more. Sometimes a question might come to your mind that am I not narrowing down the chances of getting a job as I am reducing the scope of my subject expertise? Well, after a master's degree, you are most probably hired for your expertise. The fourth point is shortlisting universities. This is the first cut of shortlisting universities. Now that you have finally decided that your area of specialization, you have to proceed to shortlist a pool of universities. Now this may consist around 25 to 30 universities. They may be from different countries with different merits. You have to make this pool considering only the factor that the university provide good research and internship opportunities with top-notch education. Other aspects of choosing has to be done in the final cut. The first cut is done as GRE exam. Yes, we have finally reached the point which is starting point for many. The GRE exam gives you an option to send your score to 4 universities free of cost. Cost of sending GRE scores to one recipient is about $27, which sums up to around 2000 rupees. When you prepare for your first cut, find out GRE score required to get into respective universities. Prepare a good mix of universities having scores that encompass a wide range of GRE marks. Therefore, when you have your GRE score on your screen after the exam, you will be able to send scores to appropriate universities wisely there and then. Fifth point is GRE prep. GRE is not required in most of the universities in countries like Germany. So make sure you require one. This is one of the most important steps where a lot of aspirants tend to make a mistake. Syllabus for this exam is very easy, but speed and accuracy are the keys to crack GRE. In my opinion, you must have a date set for your exam within first 5 to 6 days of preparing. Once you book the date, you have 2 free mock tests from ETS GRE official website. Take the test 1 to gauge yourself. There are certain areas where you might lack which you might realize post-analysis of this mock test. They will tell you how much effort you need to put in which areas for each section. Now coming to our next point, which is GRE sections. GRE consists of 3 sections: quant, verbal and analytical writing. Quant has some basic mathematics question. Those afraid of maths need not worry, as you don't really need any sort of calculus or advanced maths for this section. Verbal section on the other hand is a bit of challenge for some people. It was challenging for me too. You need to have very good reading skills and you need to have excellent vocabulary with you for excelling in this section. Finally, AWA doesn't contribute to your final GRE score, but a good AWA score is equally important for your admission. A good AWA score helps you to get RA and TA very easily, which is research assistantship and teaching assistantship. 7th point is preparation for IELTS or TOEFL. English proficiency exam is also a requirement for this process. For that, you could either opt for IELTS or TOEFL as per your university requirement. TOEFL exams are accepted in most of the American universities. IELTS on the other hand is accepted worldwide in most of the American, across Europe and Australian and Canadian universities as well. I advise you to pick a date for either of these exams within a period of 2 to 3 weeks after the GRE. Reason being, you already have prepared for the verbal section of GRE, which is of immense help while you appear for these exams. I will try to explain the structure of each GRE, TOEFL and IELTS exam in some other video. Now we come to the next point, which is our 8th point, which is shortlisting universities final cut. After you have scores for both exams and you might have passed with flying colors, you are in a better position to prepare a final cut for around 9 to 10 universities for application. Now, you have to scrutinize these universities very thoroughly. You have to make a pool of say 3 to 4 easy to get in universities, 4 apt universities as per your scores, and 3 to 4 ambitious universities to get in. After the shortlisting is done, we proceed to our next point, which is SOP and LOR. SOP stands for Statement of Purpose and LOR stands for Letter of Recommendation. These 2 documents are the most crucial when it comes to getting you into any university. SOP is a document that reflects you on a paper. LOR is a document that comes from your employer or your immediate professor. I will prepare videos on how to make SOP and LOR in a few days. Please make it a point that you put in a lot of effort to make SOP and give your best. For LORs, it is recommended that it should come from someone alongside whom you have worked for a substantial amount of time, say 2 years or more. These people include your team lead, your team manager. From the undergrad school, it includes a professor with whom you might have done some research work, some paper publishing, seminar work, etc. Now we come to our 10th and final point, which is transcripts. Universities require transcripts to be uploaded into their portals while you make applications. Some of them ask you to send sealed envelope of transcripts to their postal address. Therefore, you have to make an application to your undergrad university to get these transcripts. Finally, after you have all these things with you, you start with your applications. So that's it, guys. I hope that you might have got a pretty fair idea about how the process for starting to apply to universities is going to be. I will make in-depth videos as I have promised, so don't worry. Please comment down if you have any suggestions and subscribe for similar content. If you love the video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.